Alright, so at the top it says naming angles. An angle is a set of points consisting of two different rays that have the same endpoint called the vertex. The rays on either side of the angle. Alright, so this point where the two rays meet is the vertex. And then we have the ray AC and the ray AB coming off of that vertex. And we call those the sides. Alright, there are several ways to name an angle. We use this is an angle symbol, to represent an angle. Here are three ways to name the above angle. Anybody have an idea what one of them could be? Tobias?
The one we started.
Okay, so angle, and then what do we call it? Belle?
When can it be like angle A?
Angle A, alright, that's one of them. Angle, Chloe?
Angle CAB.
CAB. Or BAC, depending on which way you went. What's the third way of writing this one? This one has its own name. It's angle 1. Alright, if you're going to use 3 letters to name your angle, which is what we usually do, because there's usually something else coming off the other side, the middle letter is the turning point. So we could have called it BAC or CAB, as long as this is the turning point here. Alright. We've got an example here. It says a lighthouse keeper measures the lighthouse angles formed by the lighthouse at point M and 3 boats. So these are kind of hard to see, but there's a boat at J, a boat at K, and a boat at L. Name 3 angles that you see in the diagram. Alright, so how would we name this first angle? I'm going to call it angle 1, but I want you to give me the 3-letter version of that angle.
KMJ.
So angle 1 is what? KMJ. KMJ. Alright, or what would be the opposite of that one? JMK. Both of those are the same, so if you like one better than the other, use that. Alright, what's another angle? Let's go with angle 2 in the bottom here. How do we name that one? Chloe? KML or LKM or KML. Either of those are good. LMK or KML, that's the second one. And what about this whole thing? What if we're talking about the whole angle there?
JML.
JML. Oh, I forgot my symbols on the last 2. Sorry. Alright, those are all angles. If you just have 3 letters by themselves, it's a plane. So make sure you add in this one because I skipped it on accident. Alright, that seems pretty easy for you. At the bottom, it says measuring and classifying the angles, which is what most of our learning target is for today. It says a protractor helps us approximate the measure of an angle. So the measure is the number, usually given in degrees. Does anybody know the other way that we talk about angles? Degrees and radians. I knew somebody who was a computer person would know it. Radians is the other one. We won't see, I don't think we see any radians right now, but that's all calculus is based on. You won't see degrees in calculus.
Why?
Because radians are based off circles and the world is a circle, so
Nobody
it makes
likes
more
circles.
sense.
The Earth is flat.
What's wrong with circle? Okay, the Earth is flat, but what's wrong with
Alright, so postulate 1.3 is the protractor postulate. It says, consider that the line OB, so we're talking this line on the bottom here, and point A on one side of OB. So here's A on the line coming off of OB. The rays that form OA can be matched 1-to-1 with real numbers from 0 to 180. So protractors go from 0 to 180, because 180 is a straight line, and you can count it either way. So you can count it up from the left, or you can count it up from the right. The measure of angle AOB, so angle AOB would be this angle here, AOB. which is written as m, which is measure, of the angle, and then the name of it, is equal to the absolute value of the difference between the real number matched on OA and OB on a protractor. Okay? So if we were reading this one, if we're starting here, we're going to go over this way. Notice the numbers on the top count from left to right. The numbers on the inside go from right to left. So if we're starting here, this is our 0. And we're going to count up. So how many degrees is this angle here?
140.
140. So we'd say the measure of angle AOB is 140. And then we use the little degree symbol. Alright, flip the page once you have that. And we're going to name our types of angles, aka classify them. Alright, the first one here, this angle. Does anybody know what we call an angle like this? Kenzie? Acute. Acute! Acute. Which means it's between 0 and 90 degrees. It has to be less than 90. Alright, if it is 90, what do we call it? Liam?
Right.
Alright. A right angle, and you'll always see the little square in the corner. That tells us it's 90 degrees. If it's bigger than a right angle, what are we calling it?
Obtuse.
Alright, obtuse. And what do we call it if it's 180? Straight. I heard it somewhere. Straight angle. So we just call it straight.
Straight.
Oh my bad.
It's straight.
Straight. A straight angle. Alright. So you're going to work on this example with your table.
I'm trying to start.
It says find the measure of the angle and then classify it. So measure means you're giving a number in degrees. Classify means you're giving it a name. So acute, obtuse, right, or straight. Alright, go ahead and work on those 3 with your table. And then we'll come back. 5 and it's acute. Alright, so there's my work for you. I tried to color code. You could have also found this one by using the top number. So you could have done 125 minus 90. Either way, you're going to get to 35. Alright. Moving right along. We can use, okay, so this is constructions. It's the same 2 tools that we use to construct a line segment. Does anybody remember what those 2 tools were?
A compass.
A compass and not a protractor.
I just gassed at all of you to think it was
A compass and a straight edge. Alright, so we can use a compass.
Isn't that a roller though?
And yes. But it doesn't have to have markings on it. That's why it's called a straight edge. It doesn't have to have like the inch markings.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
So here's the steps for doing so. You'd start by drawing a line similar to angle A, the baseline. Then we would label the point D, that's really like the A. Then we get our compass and we draw an arc. We label the 2 points of our arc so that we know the distance between them. And then we can use our straight edge to draw the line through that last mark we made. Alright. Flip to the next page. I know, I have to make the pictures so big on these so you can see them that it ends up just being a long packet. Alright. 2 angles are congruent. Congruent when they have the same measure. In the last figure, angles A and angle D were congruent. So we would read it as, okay, what does the little m mean?
Measure.
All right, we're writing this out. Measure. How do we say this part?
Of angle.
Of angle
A.
A. What is this symbol?
Equal.
Is equal to. What is this?
Measure.
Measure of
Angle B.
angle D. I guess my line wasn't quite long enough, sorry. Alright, what is the next line read as then?
Angle A is congruent to angle D.
Angle A is congruent to angle D. Alright, angle A is congruent to angle D. I think we might actually finish these. Alright, using angle addition postulate. Very similar to the segment addition postulate. It says if P is in the interior of angle RST, so let's picture where that is. RST is this big angle. P is on the interior, which means it's inside the angle, not outside. Then the measure of angle RST is equal to the sum. So what operation is that? Plus or addition. The measures of angles RSP and PST. So let's make sure. The whole thing is going to be the same as RSP, which is the top one, and PST, which is the bottom one. So if we add those two together, we get the whole thing. So in symbols, if P is on the interior of RST, then RST equals the measure of angle, it doesn't matter which order you put them in, RSP plus the measure of PST. So it's just the two from up above. The two measures added together will give us the full measure. Okay, here's the algebra you all love. So given that the measure of angle LKN, so that's the whole thing, LKN, is 145 degrees, find the other two angles.
How does the
So segment or angle addition postulate says if we add these two things together, we better get the whole thing. So we're going to add them all together. 2x plus 10 plus 4x minus 3 better equal what? 145. That's the whole angle. Alright, this is what my algae kids are working on, combining like terms and solving for x. So go ahead and solve this thing for x, and then use x to tell you the other two. Too far? Some of you are saying, we know this is 90 degrees. Can't we just do 90 and then subtract it? Do we see the square? No. This could be 89.999 degrees, but it's not 90. So you have to plug in your x value once you find it to figure out what each angle is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so finish solving this for x. That doesn't tell you the angle measure, that just tells you what x is. Then you have to plug x in for both places to figure out what those two angle measures are.
didn't do it.
All right, here's my work. I tried to color code it.
Oh, 89, 90.
So once you found x to be 23, you had to plug x in both places. So 2 times 23 is 46 plus 10, and then we got 89. So it's almost 90, but it's not 90.
Are you gonna do that on the test?
I might, you never know.
That's not nice.
I love angles that are close to 90 but aren't 90. It's my favorite.
That's how you give people mental problems.
Alright, last concept that we're going to cover is bisecting angles. So, bisecting an angle. An angle bisector. What did bisector mean when we were doing segments?
I was gonna say.
It splits something in half, right? So that we get two equal pieces. Bi means two, sect means to split. So to split into two equal parts is a bisect. So an angle bisector is a ray that divides or splits an angle into two congruent angles. All right, so what angle is the ray WY bisecting here?
XYZ.
XYZ. So angle XYZ. All right. You're going to flip to the last page.
You guys got 6 minutes.
You just got one thing to read and one thing to do.
What time do we leave if we are heading over?
23.
If we walk over?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're traveling in 10-12. Alright, so on the last page is the instructions for doing an angle bisector with a compass and a straight edge. So you can read through that. And then you're going to use the clue you have here to find the missing angle. So it says the ray QS bisects angle PQR, and the measure of angle PQS is 24. Find the other one.
What? Math isn't. How do you do that?
Because this angle bisects, this angle's 24, so this angle's 24, and it wants the whole angle PQR, so 24 plus 24, see ya,
One more.
is 48 degrees.